Here comes Tony, walking in the room, mic in hand, something's about to boom. Tell me what you gotta say. Tell me, make it count today. Big Tony speaks, and everybody listens. Big Tony speaks, his voice just keeps on lifting. When Tony talks, you know you gotta hear him. Big Tony speaks. Sit right down, let me hear your voice. Share your thoughts, Tony gives you choice. Tell me what you gotta say. Tell me, make it count today. You always speak, Big Tony speaks, and everybody listens. Big Tony speaks, his voice just keeps on lifting. When Tony talks, you know you gotta hear him. Big Tony speaks. Big Tony speaks. He got something to say every single day. He's got something to say. Come on out and play. Big Tony speaks, and everybody listens. Big Tony speaks, his voice just keeps on lifting. When Tony talks, you know you gotta hear him. Big Tony speaks. Big Tony speaks. Big Tony. Big Tony speaks.
Welcome back to Big Tony Speaks, the only show on the internet where the news sounds fake, but the stupidity is 100% real. I'm your host, and today we have a lineup of stories that will make you wonder if humanity collectively drank from a cursed puddle this week. Let's dive straight into the chaos. First up, let's travel to Florida, a state that treats the criminal code like a suggestion box. A homeowner called the cops because she claimed an intoxicated man broke onto her property to, get intimately acquainted with a tree before falling off a ladder. Sounds like a standard Tuesday night in Miami, right? Well, plot twist. Detectives dug a little deeper and unraveled that the tree sexual narrative was actually a wild murder cover-up. Honestly, if you're trying to hide a homicide, choosing "he died" while trying to seduce an oak tree as your alibi is an elite level of creative writing. Speaking of bulletproof strategies, a crook in Michigan tried to evade a police foot chase by casting an actual concealment spell to make himself invisible to officers. Newsflash, Harry Potter. If the cops are still running after you, your mana is low. The spell didn't work and he was arrested. Turns out the only thing he successfully made disappear was his dignity. But that's nothing compared to another woman in Michigan. During a routine jail booking strip search, guards discovered she had managed to conceal an entire full bottle of wine inside her person. An entire bottle. I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. That's not a crime. That's an aggressive commitment to BYOB. The prison guards were shocked, mostly because she didn't even bring a corkscrew. Our final criminal mastermind hails from Salt Lake City. A man was arrested for aggravated battery after putting his lunch partner in a chokehold and drawing a wooden stake with a nail in it. His defense to the police? His friend was a werewolf, and he was trying to pierce his heart before the transformation. Look, we've all had bad lunch dates, but escalating "you took the last French fry" to "you are a creature of the night" is next-level dining drama. Let's pivot to tech. A Chinese car company has officially patented a voice-activated in-vehicle toilet that slides out from beneath the passenger seat for long road trips. Because nothing says luxury travel like looking your front seat passenger dead in the eye while yelling, "Alexa, activate the commode!" Road trip road rage is about to get a whole lot weirder. Meanwhile, a food truck called Waste Bar in the Netherlands has gone viral for solving littering with a unique economy. They are successfully convincing hundreds of locals to trade cigarette butts for fresh pancakes. Finally, a currency worse than crypto. It's an environmental win, sure, but I feel bad for the guy trying to explain to his doctor why his breakfast smells like a 1990s bowling alley. Over in France, a thief broke into a museum exhibit and stole absolutely nothing but the display fruit, just the fake fruit. Either it's a highly sophisticated art heist statement, or someone was incredibly hungry and incredibly disappointed 3 seconds into their getaway drive. And if you think that's an overreaction, let's check on a Minnesota man who was charged with second-degree assault after shooting a gun at a firefighting airplane flying over his house. When the cops asked him what the heck he was doing, he claimed he was just crow hunting and told officers, "If I accidentally hit him, too bad." Sir, if you are mistaking a 50-foot bright yellow water bomber plane for a crow, you don't need a lawyer, you need a very strong pair of glasses. Moving on to international panics. A South Korean man is facing 5 years in prison after posting an AI-generated image of a giant wolf roaming the streets for fun. The fake image caused massive public panic, shut down local primary schools, and sent emergency teams on a wild goose chase. 5 years in jail for a bad Photoshop? That's rough. But honestly, if your town gets outsmarted by a JPEG, everyone shares the blame. Speaking of animals causing a scene, the London Zoo officially broke a world record by creating a massive collective artwork featuring over 14,000 individual contributors. The masterpiece was later legally authenticated and approved via flipper stamps by the zoo's resident Humboldt penguins. Art critics are calling it groundbreaking, while the penguins are just wondering when they're getting paid in fish. But things aren't going as well for the tourism board in New Zealand. A famous tourist attraction was forced to completely shut down due to a massive biohazard cleanup caused by unidentified rogue human feces, just out there in the wild. You know your vacation spot is elite when it gets taken down by a phantom pooper. Down in the Namib Desert, things are a bit cleaner. Tourists are going viral after discovering a pink solar-powered refrigerator sitting completely alone in the sand dunes, fully stocked with free cold drinks by the local government. A fridge in the middle of a barren wasteland. It's beautiful, it's philanthropic, and it looks exactly like the trap a cartoon villain would set for a thirsty coyote. Let's talk about donations. Thrift store employees in Florida got a horrific surprise when sorting through a donation box and found an actual human skull. The donor had clearly mistaken it for a plastic Halloween prop. Imagine buying a used sweater and leaving with a murder mystery. Check your boxes, people. Over in England, a tour boat crew had to perform an emergency high seas rescue after a rogue gust of wind blew a dog out to sea while it was sitting alone inside a runaway inflatable kayak. The dog is totally fine, but you know that dog is never letting his owner live this down. He went out for a walk and ended up in a maritime survival movie. Next, a high school senior class in Michigan staged a massive commuter prank, arriving for their final day of school, riding a chaotic convoy of lawnmowers, ATVs, and heavy-duty farm tractors. Traffic was backed up for miles, but hey, nothing prepares you for the crushing weight of adult student loans, quite like driving a John Deere at 4 miles an hour down a main highway. And finally, our hero of the week, a 70-year-old man whose house has been hit by cars 5 separate times, woke up with a car literally on his chest. He got loaded into an ambulance, looked the driver in the eye, and begged him to stop at a gas station so he could buy a lottery ticket. 5 car crashes into his house, 1 on his chest, and his first thought is, "Today is my lucky day." That is the kind of unhinged optimism we should all aspire to. That's it for Big Tony Speaks. Stay safe, watch out for flying cars, and keep your wine bottles where they belong. Good night.
Yeah, apparently, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Apparently, I've been just sitting here rambling. I don't know if y'all even heard the video that I just played. Did you hear it, Patriot? Did you hear the video that I played? Okay, you say I'm 5x5 now, but did you hear the video that I played? Mhm. Because the video was kind of important, as crucial to this conversation that I apparently am having with myself because nobody can hear me. And it's all due to Rumble. I set my settings and then I go live and Rumble resets my settings so that I can't be heard. So I have to fix it. So somebody please let me know. That video that I played, was that actually heard? Didn't hear the video. I am going to now start this show over. I'm going to replay that video. And then we'll have the discussion on the other side. How's that? Sounds good to me. So,
Welcome back to Big Tony Speaks, the only show on the internet where the news sounds fake, but the stupidity is 100% real. I'm your host, and today we have a lineup of stories that will make you wonder if humanity collectively drank from a cursed puddle this week. Let's dive straight into the chaos. First up, let's travel to Florida, a state that treats the criminal code like a suggestion box. A homeowner called the cops because she claimed an intoxicated man broke onto her property to, get intimately acquainted with a tree before falling off a ladder. Sounds like a standard Tuesday night in Miami, right? Well, plot twist. Detectives dug a little deeper and unraveled that the tree sexual narrative was actually a wild murder cover-up. Honestly, if you're trying to hide a homicide, choosing "he died" while trying to seduce an oak tree as your alibi is an elite level of creative writing. Speaking of bulletproof strategies, a crook in Michigan tried to evade a police foot chase by casting an actual concealment spell to make himself invisible to officers. Newsflash, Harry Potter. If the cops are still running after you, your mana is low. The spell didn't work and he was arrested. Turns out the only thing he successfully made disappear was his dignity. But that's nothing compared to another woman in Michigan. During a routine jail booking strip search, guards discovered she had managed to conceal an entire full bottle of wine inside her person. An entire bottle. I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. That's not a crime. That's an aggressive commitment to BYOB. The prison guards were shocked, mostly because she didn't even bring a corkscrew. Our final criminal mastermind hails from Salt Lake City. A man was arrested for aggravated battery after putting his lunch partner in a chokehold and drawing a wooden stake with a nail in it. His defense to the police? His friend was a werewolf, and he was trying to pierce his heart before the transformation. Look, we've all had bad lunch dates, but escalating "you took the last French fry" to "you are a creature of the night" is next-level dining drama. Let's pivot to tech. A Chinese car company has officially patented a voice-activated in-vehicle toilet that slides out from beneath the passenger seat for long road trips. Because nothing says luxury travel like looking your front seat passenger dead in the eye while yelling, "Alexa, activate the commode!" Road trip road rage is about to get a whole lot weirder. Meanwhile, a food truck called Waste Bar in the Netherlands has gone viral for solving littering with a unique economy. They are successfully convincing hundreds of locals to trade cigarette butts for fresh pancakes. Finally, a currency worse than crypto. It's an environmental win, sure, but I feel bad for the guy trying to explain to his doctor why his breakfast smells like a 1990s bowling alley. Over in France, a thief broke into a museum exhibit and stole absolutely nothing but the display fruit, just the fake fruit. Either it's a highly sophisticated art heist statement, or someone was incredibly hungry and incredibly disappointed 3 seconds into their getaway drive. And if you think that's an overreaction, let's check on a Minnesota man who was charged with second-degree assault after shooting a gun at a firefighting airplane flying over his house. When the cops asked him what the heck he was doing, he claimed he was just crow hunting and told officers, "If I accidentally hit him, too bad." Sir, if you are mistaking a 50-foot bright yellow water bomber plane for a crow, you don't need a lawyer, you need a very strong pair of glasses. Moving on to international panics. A South Korean man is facing 5 years in prison after posting an AI-generated image of a giant wolf roaming the streets for fun. The fake image caused massive public panic, shut down local primary schools, and sent emergency teams on a wild goose chase. 5 years in jail for a bad Photoshop? That's rough. But honestly, if your town gets outsmarted by a JPEG, everyone shares the blame. Speaking of animals causing a scene, the London Zoo officially broke a world record by creating a massive collective artwork featuring over 14,000 individual contributors. The masterpiece was later legally authenticated and approved via flipper stamps by the zoo's resident Humboldt penguins. Art critics are calling it groundbreaking, while the penguins are just wondering when they're getting paid in fish. But things aren't going as well for the tourism board in New Zealand. A famous tourist attraction was forced to completely shut down due to a massive biohazard cleanup caused by unidentified rogue human feces, just out there in the wild. You know your vacation spot is elite when it gets taken down by a phantom pooper. Down in the Namib Desert, things are a bit cleaner. Tourists are going viral after discovering a pink solar-powered refrigerator sitting completely alone in the sand dunes, fully stocked with free cold drinks by the local government. A fridge in the middle of a barren wasteland. It's beautiful, it's philanthropic, and it looks exactly like the trap a cartoon villain would set for a thirsty coyote. Let's talk about donations. Thrift store employees in Florida got a horrific surprise when sorting through a donation box and found an actual human skull. The donor had clearly mistaken it for a plastic Halloween prop. Imagine buying a used sweater and leaving with a murder mystery. Check your boxes, people. Over in England, a tour boat crew had to perform an emergency high seas rescue after a rogue gust of wind blew a dog out to sea while it was sitting alone inside a runaway inflatable kayak. The dog is totally fine, but you know that dog is never letting his owner live this down. He went out for a walk and ended up in a maritime survival movie. Next, a high school senior class in Michigan staged a massive commuter prank, arriving for their final day of school, riding a chaotic convoy of lawnmowers, ATVs, and heavy-duty farm tractors. Traffic was backed up for miles, but hey, nothing prepares you for the crushing weight of adult student loans, quite like driving a John Deere at 4 miles an hour down a main highway. And finally, our hero of the week, a 70-year-old man whose house has been hit by cars 5 separate times, woke up with a car literally on his chest. He got loaded into an ambulance, looked the driver in the eye, and begged him to stop at a gas station so he could buy a lottery ticket. 5 car crashes into his house, 1 on his chest, and his first thought is, "Today is my lucky day." That is the kind of unhinged optimism we should all aspire to. That's it for Big Tony Speaks. Stay safe, watch out for flying cars, and keep your wine bottles where they belong. Good night.
All right. And by the way, every bit of that was actual real news. So that was not made up. That was actual real news. However, now see, the point of that, I left the watermark across it and everything on purpose, because that, that is, of course, obviously AI. That's me on there. Sure. That's AI Big Tony. And that's what you all could be getting, very easily, because it's so simple, so easy. I just feed it some images, I feed it some prompts, and it spits out what you just saw. A high energy, fast paced, well written, comedic take on the same news that I provide you live right here on Big Tony Speaks. I mean, I think it's actually pretty good, but it's not me. It's not a live human being. So, would y'all rather have AI Big Tony present you the news? You know, come, get your fix of the weird, the wild, the outrageous, the odd, and the amazing, and move on? Or would you rather have live Big Tony, presenting the weird, the wild, the outrageous, the amazing, all of that, and having a discussion about it, joking about it with you, and interacting with you, and having a good time with it? And that's the whole purpose of this show, by the way. Give you a break from all of the negativity, all of the politics, all of the BS in this world. Bring you back to a little bit of normalcy, in an abnormal world. Because we can't live like that. We can't live constantly obsessed with all of that BS. So there's got to be people like myself that are willing to get on here and give you a break from all that. Sure, I started out doing all of that, all the negativity, all of the politics, all of the division and all of that. Sure. But then it started getting to me. And it started spreading into my personal life, and that can't happen. That causes issues. And I thank you, Patriot. I prefer the real Big Tony myself, but ultimately this show is all about you all. Ultimately, at the end of the day, without the viewers, there is no Big Tony Speaks. It's just me talking out into the ether. And a lot of days, I'm actually just me talking out into the ether. I can see when I have viewers, on all of my platforms that I broadcast to. There's a little thing up at the top of my screen, shows each one of my platforms. It shows how many people are watching on each platform. And a lot of times it says 0 all the way across. Now, I know a lot of my viewers watch it on replay, because I'll go to bed after having 0 viewers, and the next morning I'll wake up and have 200-300 views. So I know that a lot of my viewers watch on replay. I would rather have those viewers watching live, and interacting in the chat with me. But it is what it is. And it's tough. Let me tell you, it's tough talking to a camera and knowing that there's nobody on the other side watching it, and interacting with you. It's really, really tough. So tell me give me y'all's opinion. Tell me what you all think. Don't just react to what I say or what I ask. Come on, get in there and give me your real, honest opinion. I mean, you could easily have what you just saw. You could easily have a professional looking, fast paced, high energy delivery of all the same news that I present you at my pace, while interacting with you all. You could either have the live me interacting with you all and presenting all this information at my pace and throwing in little comments here and there while I'm delivering the news and etc. Or you could have that. You could have the fast pace, get it done, give you the facts and some jokes and move on, and be done with it and go on with your day, It's really, at the end of the day, it's up to you all. It's what you all want. Would you rather have the AI, or would you rather have me? Or a combination of both? I mean, because that can happen too. I can literally mix the AI in with the real live me, and I can do all kinds of really wild things. I mean, and to me, I mean, I've watched that video that you all watched. I've watched it a bunch of times, and it looks good. It looks good to me. I mean, without that watermark, and certain things that I know about the AIs, you know, without that, shit, I would think that was real. you know, I mean, it. Mhm, mhm, I see, but yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think. Come on, jump up in that chat and tell me. I know there's only a couple of you on there, but you can still talk to me. And yeah, I hope you do get to go home tomorrow, Patriot. I'm not ignoring the chat. I don't ever ignore the chat. I read every single thing that people type in there. Mm. And yeah, having a stent put in is bad enough, but then having a seizure on top of it, yeah, that's got to really, really suck. I used to have seizures a lot. I haven't had a seizure that I know of in quite a long time. I generally, when I do have them, they're pretty severe, and I don't remember having them. I just know that when I come out of one, I feel like I'm swimming through mud. Swing underneath the surface, swimming through mud. you know, um, that's the best description that I can come up with to describe it. But I haven't had one in quite a number of years, so that's a good thing, in my opinion. But that's your first one, your first time you've ever had a seizure. Yeah, yeah. That I could see that would if it was my very first one scared the crap out of me. I didn't know what the heck had just happened. You know, I knew I went out, and then a little while later, I came back to, and everybody was telling me they thought I was getting ready to die because I was having a seizure, and they couldn't get me to come out of it, and nobody knew what to do. You know, yeah. I mean, after that, all my friends learned, what to do in case Tony went into a seizure. You know, So, but nobody knew what to do. Everybody was scared. And it scared me because when I come to, like I said, I had that feeling like I was swimming through mud. I didn't in the very first few minutes, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who anybody around me was. I didn't know where I was. You know, it took a little bit for my head to kind of get a little closer to straight and may remember everything, remember who everybody was, and all of that stuff. And then everybody started talking to me all at once, telling me what had just happened and everything. And I thought I had just passed out. No, it turned out I went into a full seizure, and they were terrified, thought I was getting ready to die. They none of them had ever seen anything like that. So I can feel you with that being your first seizure. That is a very scary thing. Mm. you were at the appointment to have the stent put in, and you woke up in the hospital bed 2 days later, right? Oh yeah, that can be really terrifying. You're in one place and you wake up in an entirely different place. Yeah, I had an incident when I was 16. I fell out and went into a coma, and I was in a coma for 2.5 weeks. And of course, I was at school and just went out, hit the ground, went into a full grand mal seizure, and next thing I know, it's 2.5 weeks later, I'm in the hospital with all kind of tubes coming in, going in and out of me, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? I did not, I did not know what had happened. The doctor started telling me, you know, what had occurred and everything, and where I was living at the time is actually part of the cause of why it happened. Um, my dad being a minister, of course, says that the devil attacked me, and that was what caused that. But scientifically, we know that it was caused by a mosquito. Where I lived was literally right next to an old. I mean, we shared a fence with this old abandoned water treatment facility, and it was a hotbed for mosquitoes. I mean, they were horrible. You know, um, you could not go outside even with mosquito repellent and everything without getting eaten up. And yeah, they did 3 spinal taps on me back to back. I to this day still have migraines that are actually caused by those spinal taps done back to back. They were trying to figure out what was wrong with me, and they still actually never did 100% figure out what it was. For insurance purposes, they gave it a name. They called it meningoencephalitis, a combination of meningitis and encephalitis. So, um, but yeah, I was in a coma for 2.5 weeks, all because of a mosquito. And yeah, I went out at school. We were actually heading outside for an outside pep rally, I believe it was. It was some big thing that the school was having outside on the field, and we were all headed outside. And I last thing I remember was coming through those big doors, going outside the school to the field, and next thing I know, I'm waking up in the hospital 2.5 weeks later. By the way, having a little funny part in my opinion. By the way, having kicked the crap out of my stepmother at the time. I was out. I didn't know nothing about it. It wasn't me. You can't put the blame on me. I was having a seizure. You hit the floor and had 10 doctors around you. There's lots of things that can cause seizures. I've learned that there are lots of things. Stress, um, various different hormonal imbalances. You know, right? Electrical misfires in your brain. You know, I mean, if you've ever had a traumatic brain injury or traumatic spine injury, both of those can cause seizures, and it doesn't necessarily start immediately after the trauma. It could start years later. I mean, it's crazy, how those things work. you know I've I have to deal with a lot of neurological issues due to injuries from years ago when I was, I have Bell's palsy. I have paralysis of the face. I mean, it's not a 100% paralysis. but I have difficulty doing things such as smiling. I have difficulty controlling. Right here, I drool constantly. That's why you constantly see me doing things like that right there. It's I can't control it because of the paralysis. So I mean, it's rough, but I deal with it. But that is caused by a traumatic head and neck injury that I had as a small child. I also think at the same time that was when I lost the hearing in my right ear. I can't pinpoint that exactly, so I don't know for sure. But I do know that the Bell's palsy came from that head and neck trauma because it did damage to the vertebrae right here beneath my skull, and that's where your facial nerve is that comes around from your spine to your face and controls all of that stuff. It causes me issues with my eyes, my sinuses, with my mouth, my muscles in my mouth, and muscles controlling, expressions and things like that. You know, it's crazy. But yeah, I deal a lot with neurological issues due to injuries and other things. Um, my diabetes creates a lot of neurological problems. With neuropathy and etc. Neuropathy isn't just in your feet and hands. Um, you can get neuropathy anywhere in your body. You can get neuropathy to organs in your body. You know, so yeah, it's not just what you hear all the time. Neuropathy in the feet or neuropathy in the hands or whatever, which I do have. I have um, my feet, my legs, my hands. You know, I have severe diabetic neuropathy. So I have a whole laundry list of health issues. That's why Big Tony is disabled, and can't work. That's why Big Tony has the time to do this. I mean, uh, I like doing this. It gives me something to do. It's a real headache and aggravation a lot of times, but you know, I like to do it. I mean, I think it's cool, and I definitely don't do it for the money. Because let me tell you, if I was doing it for the money, I'd be done quit this business a long time ago. Because I'm not making anything. In fact, I'm upside down in this venture here. I'm spending out more than I'm bringing in. So literally, no joke. Yeah. So I mean, I, I don't know about that. That's yeah. She says she wants a car with one of those car toilets. You know, that like as I said, all of that stuff that AI Big Tony was talking about, that's all real news. That was stuff that I was going to present myself, but then I got this idea of showing y'all what AI can do, and what you very easily could be seeing instead of seeing me here live. It very easily could be AI Big Tony, and Big Tony sitting back chatting in the chat, or just watching, not doing anything. Just start the stream and be done with it. It could very easily be that. You know, personally, I like the personal touch. But if a whole bunch of you all say you'd rather have the AI, man, I can make that happen. You know, I can give y'all an episode every day of AI Big Tony, just like what you just saw. All it takes is upload a few images, write a script, and AI will do the rest. Really? At one time, our hospital here actually had a Michelin star chef running the kitchen, but that didn't last very long. I think it only lasted for like 2 years, and then I mean, but yeah, for that 2 years, they were actually serving some pretty decent stuff. You know, a lot of people were actually going there, that weren't even in the hospital. They just go to the hospital to eat because of that chef there. So I mean, you never know. A hospital could be serving some pretty decent stuff. Most people, though, like myself, most people go in the hospital and the hospital food is nasty. If I can at all possibly do it, I get somebody to go get me some outside food and bring it to me. You know, I'll eat a little bit of what they bring me so they think that I'm still eating their diet. You know, I mean, well, if you're not like in ICU or anything, then yeah, you call DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever, or just call Domino's, man. I mean, you could, if you're not like in ICU or if you're not in one of the various wards where it's guarded, you know. But yeah, if I'm not like an ICU or anything, shit, I'm calling up my friends. Hey, come up here and see me, and on the way, stop by Burger King or you know Taco Bell or whatever, and bring me some food. I'll pay you when you get here, or here I'll cash app it to you. You know. Oh, I used to get those all the time, man. She said that her daddy, when he would go in the hospital, um, he always would have her go get him Pizza Hut personal pan pizza. Hey, I used to eat the crap out of those things, man. I loved the personal pan pizzas. I had a friend that worked at Pizza Hut and would whenever I would come in, I'd catch their attention and I'd put my order in and they would know that it's me and I would get a fully loaded supreme personal pan pizza. I would the waitress take the order and it'd be like a pepperoni or a sausage, but when it came to my table, it's fully loaded. They'd tell the waitress, "Yeah, just go with it." Do what? Well, why you looking at me when you're doing it? What about them? I don't know. You're in there looking. Uh, she gonna be in the kitchen looking and ask me, "Do we have any black olives?" She's in the kitchen. I'm not. I'm on here talking to you all. How do I know what we got? I just pay for it. I don't know what we have. She's all the time cooking stuff, so I really, truthfully, honestly, I don't know what we have left. So I mean, we're sitting there talking about pizza. I think she's got to burr up her butt and is going to get in there and make a pizza. She likes black olives on her pizza. See, I don't. But thing is, I don't. If that's your plan, I don't think we have half of what we need to do it. I don't think she even hears me. She thinks I'm talking to you all. Yeah, that's what I was saying. If that's your plan, if your plan is to make a pizza, I don't think we have half. I know we don't have like any pepperoni or anything like that. Oh yeah, I ate them. I I have a bad habit of sitting and munching on packs of pepperoni. You know, it's not the most healthy thing in the world, but I've done it all my life. I've sat and munched on pepperoni all my life. I'm on a whole lot of cholesterol medicine. I'm actually on one of the best cholesterol medicines. And the cool thing is I don't have to take it every day. Once every 2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks. I'm on one. Huh? Yep. And she usually gives me the shot. It's a shot. So, once every 2 weeks. And doctors tell me it's one of the best. So far, I haven't had any complaints. I'll find out here soon, within the next few days, um, what my cholesterol levels are. I'm supposed to go do some blood work, so I'll find out. But I mean, I've got a couple of different things for my cholesterol, and I've got a whole crap ton of medication here and in my refrigerator, and I've got a little refrigerator right over here that's just personally mine. So she's got one in the other room that's personally hers, but it's not even plugged up. I looked. She's not even using it. I'm gonna bring it in here and set it on top of my other fridge and use them both. She says, "Okay." You still got some of those? Oh my lord! A while back, I bought her some packs of little bitty baby bottled waters. She still got them. I keep hounding her all the time about she has to drink more water. She has to drink more water because she has health issues of her own. Now, I thought she'd already drank those. She should have been done with them a long time ago. And apparently not. I'm beeping. Okay, let me find out why I'm beeping. Might be this in my pocket. Yes, it is that in my pocket. And I know why it's doing that. Because of that cookie I ate. But I'll be okay. It's it's not horrible, and I took some medicine earlier, so if need be, I'll pop myself with another shot here in a little bit. So I don't know. Patriot may be in and out, uh, given still in the hospital and whatnot. Because I noticed that you didn't get an answer on your last question. So, or it could be dinner time right now. I am not even sure. Oh, what? Hang on. I'm not sure exactly what time zone they're in, but let me. I'll just ask Gemini. Oh, Ultimate Southwest burrito with garlic. That does sound really good. And it's 5:57 p.m. in Minnesota. Yeah, but that does sound really good. Wow. Ultimate Southwest burrito with garlic. I love me some garlic. I'm sorry, I'm kind of a garlic freak. You know, um, so garlic is good in everything. You know, so yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's why it being 5:57. That's why I was thinking it may be currently dinner time. Uh, yeah, see, I was right. I was ordering dinner when you asked, and they're actually on Central Daylight Time, right? So it's currently 5:57 p.m. Uh, there, because it's 6:57 right now here. So, so yeah, um, the dinner order was being placed. Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of figured that either it was actually dinner time, dinner was there, or it was being ordered or something like that, or possibly possibly Patriot was looking at the menu saying, "Oh, what do I want? Pineapple upside down beans or the burrito?" But yeah. But yeah, shoot. Yeah, I've spent a good bit of time in the hospital myself, so I know how it is. I can sympathize. With and this shirt, by the way, is absolutely true. I survived the Widowmaker. Um, nice type of heart attack that people don't generally survive. I survived it. Uh, funny thing is, I had been experiencing symptoms of having that heart attack for over a week before I went to the hospital. It finally just got too much, and because see, I was thinking that I was having a severe diabetic event, and in that case, I know what to do. I know what the hospital is going to do if I go to them, and I can do that right here. So I thought I was having a major diabetic event, and I was going to take care of it myself. But it finally got so bad, I just said, "Screw it! I got to go to the hospital." And went to the hospital, and thank God they recognized what was going on immediately, and I ended up getting sent to a hospital in Macon, and I had to have open heart surgery. They did two bypasses and replaced a valve in my heart. I am now part pig. So when women say men are pigs, I technically I am, at least in part, you know, because I have a porcine, a pig valve in my heart. So I kind of say I'm a pig at heart. So it takes 45 minutes to get your dinner order. From the time you order it to the time you receive it, it takes that long. So I don't know. For hospitals, that's actually pretty good. Um, yeah, I've been in some hospitals where it's taken a couple of hours to get your food. So 45 minutes, that's not it's not great, but it's not horrible either. I've had it be a lot worse than that. So yeah, yeah. Patriot answered you. Sometimes just being in the hospital can ruin your appetite. I mean, I'm sorry, but I've had that happen. I've had it happen where they were actually telling me, look, if you don't eat, we're going to make you eat. They're going to put a tube in and force feed me. You know, uh, so I mean, it's just being in the hospital. It does something to you. It makes you where you're not really all that hungry. A lot of the time. But me, I'm a fat boy. And us fat boys, even when we're sick, you know, we could be puking every 10 minutes and still want to eat. You know, I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's it's just kind of a thing with us fat boys. So. Oh. But it gives me the right. Being a fat boy gives me the right to talk about fat people, you know. And I am very strongly opinionated when it comes to fat people. You know, I understand that some people have health issues that can cause them to be fat. However, there is medication, there's diet, and there's exercise. Okay. I understand some people eat, because they're depressed. Find another outlet for your depression, etc. The eating thing is not healthy. Some people just don't know how to eat properly. They don't they don't understand that it's not how much they're eating, it's what they're eating. Look, any normal person, a regular person, can go on willingly by choice, go on the diabetic diet. And let me tell you, on the diabetic diet, if you follow it to the letter, that is a lot of food. It is a lot of food. But see, it's not about how much you're eating. It's about what you're eating. And it's also about, yeah, I kind of make a butt of myself. I make an ass of myself when I'm in the hospital. When they come to draw blood, 9 times out of 10, it's a different one every time. And when they walk in that door, I recognize that they're coming to draw blood. And I'm like, look, it's 3 strikes, you're out. You have three chances to stick me. After that, you're done. You're not getting the blood. I have been, I got really good veins, but my veins like to roll. Okay. And I have had nurses and etc. come in and try to stick me to get it, get blood, and stab me like 15, 20, 30 times, and my whole arm is black and blue, and I finally I had enough of all that, and I started giving them 3 strikes. You have 3 chances. If you don't get it within those 3 chances, you're done. And you're not going to tag someone else in, so that they can get 3 chances, and they tag somebody else in, they get 3 chances. No, that's not how it works. If you haven't gotten it in 3 tries, you're not getting it. Right? But yeah, the only way that they're gonna, if they don't get it in 3 strikes, the only way that they're gonna get a blood sample is either cut me, or they can call the vampires. The vampires, they're professionals, and they get it first try, every try. I've never had one of the vampires fail me. They get it first time, every time. I call them vampires because I can never remember that technical name for those people. Phlebotomists, that's right. But I just call them vampires. Because they come to take your blood. But yeah, I hate hospitals myself. They're full of sick people. If you want to get sick, go to a hospital. I'm not kidding. I'm not joking at all. I mean, the statistics bear it out. If you want to get sick, go to the hospital. Of course, I don't know why you would want to get sick, but hey, whatever floats your boat, I have a hangnail going on right now, and it irritates the crap out of me. Right, right. I know how it is being a pincushion. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I know how that is. That's why I've gotten to where I'm kind of a butthole, especially when it comes to that. You know, I make them explain every little thing that they're going to do. I make them tell me exactly, if they come in with a medication, what is that and what does it do? And why do I need it? you know, I make them explain all of that. I put them through their paces, whenever I'm in the hospital. You know, I mean, and I know the majority of the hospital policies. So if they're not following hospital policy, I'll call them out on it a lot of times, especially when it benefits me. I've just been in the hospital, that many times, that often. I've learned all those things. I drink more water than anybody I know. Yeah, I've got partial bottles. Like she said, I've got partial bottles sitting all over the house. Where I'll be drinking a water. I'll set it down, and then hey, I got to go do this, and I go do that, and get me another brand new full water and start drinking it. Set it down. Oh, I got to go do this, or I got to go outside and tend to our bucket garden, or I've got to go take the trash to the road, and then I'll get to doing something else after that and start a whole nother bottle of water. Hey, I got the hangnail. That hurt. It was right there. As if they could see that. Uh, but yeah, I feel you. I feel like a pincushion every time I go in the hospital. There, yeah, and you have to realize I'm diabetic as well, so they're constantly coming in there wanting to do the finger prick. They won't let me. They won't let me wear my CGM sensor and just show them my reader. No, no, no. They got to do the finger prick. You know, all hours of the day and the night. Yes, yes, I know the microplastics, but try to get glass bottles of water anymore. You know, you can't find them, and when you do, they're super expensive. And I'm on a fixed income, a very very meager fixed income. You know, and our tap water, a lot of people say you're better off, drinking the tap water than you are drinking from a plastic bottle because of the microplastics. Well, our tap water, you can literally smell the chlorine, the bleach in the water. You can taste it. You can smell it. I mean, it smells like you just, poured half of this bottle right here into a glass and then filled it the rest of the way with bleach. And that's the way it tastes. So, so yeah, I'm not drinking the tap water. You know, and we only use, yeah, there's exactly. And I think that's why it's so high in the chlorine, because I know that's what it is. It's chlorine they put in the water. I think that's one of the reasons it's so high in the chlorine, is to try to get rid of the parasites and whatnot. You know, I know that they're putting all kinds of chemicals in our water uh, to make it safe. You know, so I mean, really, 6 one, half a dozen the other, you're really you're not benefiting yourself, one way or the other by drinking out of a bottle or drinking out of the tap, or you know, and trying, like I said, trying to get water in glass bottles. It's so freaking expensive, and the best water to get is the distilled water, not the quote purified, water. You get the distilled water. That's the best water to get. But then again, honestly, how do we know that they distilled it? How do we know that they didn't just, turn on a tap and put water in a bottle? We don't. We trust them that they actually distilled it, or we trust them that they actually ran it through a purification system, etc. We don't know. I would hope that these companies, they're advertising that they're doing this stuff, running it through purification systems, or distilling it so that it is actually pure. I would hope that if they say they're doing it, they're actually doing it. But we don't know for sure. And even if you visit their plant, I'm sure they got a big old fancy setup that, where they can explain to you that these big giant machines do all of that, and they'll give you some technical mumbo jumbo and send you on your way. When really, truthfully, those big giant machines don't do anything but turn on the tap and put it in a bottle. Yeah, that's why all of your toothpaste says don't swallow it. The fluoride, you're not supposed to ingest fluoride. And it's many cities, counties, and states require that fluoride be put in your water, in the tap. The best, it's a hassle, but the best thing to do with your tap water is to boil it and then immediately refrigerate it. That takes all of the crap out of the water. Boil it, filter it, and refrigerate it. Well, you could do something like, you could get a water filtration system, and but it's not going to get everything. That's why I say boil it. Boil it, run it through a filtration system, and keep you some glass bottles on hand and sterilize them. Between uses. But yeah, the best thing is to boil it, filter it, and refrigerate immediately, and put it in glass bottles if you can. I mean, you can order, packs of like a dozen or something like that, glass bottles, like, what we used to get our sodas in and stuff like that, or, things like that, from Amazon. Canning jars are good too. You can actually get this cool metal lid that goes onto a mason jar, and it has a handle and it has a pouring spout. I want to get some jars and a few of those handles. She has a big one. I want to get some that are smaller that'll fit in my little refrigerator. My little refrigerator is just about 2.5 feet tall. So, but this is what I'm talking about. This is a big mason jar. You know, it's how many? 64 ounces. This is a big mason jar. And you see this lid here. This is what I'm talking about. These lids. You can buy them from Amazon. I've got to change my hang on. Let me do something real quick. Y'all are about to see the wreck that is behind me. So hang on. Oh. All right. One moment. Let's see. I believe it is this one. Yeah, there you go. Okay. It's not too horrible, but it's a mess. But anyway, so that we don't have that flickering. This is the jar, 64 ounces. But this is what I'm talking about here, right there. This lid. Okay, the mouths of mason jars. They're standard sizes. You have regular and you have wide, and you can get these lids in both regular and wide. It has a handle on it, so you can, and it has a little lid there. Pull it back. You can pour out. Or if you're like me, you just get you a nice long plastic straw, just stick it down in there. But yeah, you can get those lids and get your mason jars. Just make sure that when you order the lid, make sure that it's made for the same mouth as is on your jar. If you have a wide mouth jar, get a wide mouth lid. If you have a regular mouth on the jar, get a regular mouth lid, and it'll match up. You can put it on there, and like you see it. I got it all the way upside down, and this is a 64 ounce. This one's kind of heavy, but this won't fit in my little fridge, so I want to get a smaller version, And all I actually checked, even they don't need to see all that. Even these size jars have a standard size lid. I checked all of the different sizes have standard size. The only difference is if you get the wide mouth jars, they have a little bit bigger of a mouth, but all the jars with regular mouth have standard size openings. Well, you can get them from both. I've checked; they both have them. I think you got this one from Amazon though. I know that Amazon has them, but Walmart does also have them. You can order them, and the prices are comparable. So, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. Oh, you like cold brew coffee? uh, but get you the glass mason jars and get you one of those lids. I'm gonna order coming up months when I get paid. I'm gonna order some more of those lids. We got a crap ton of the jars because she cans and stuff. She just made a crap ton of preserves the other day. She does it sugar free for me, so. So she made a crap ton of preserves, and she's canning. We got a bucket garden going on, and she is canning peppers and all kinds of stuff from the garden. She makes tomato sauce and cans that. And we use that for lots of other stuff. Pastas and chilies and you name it. So I mean, we try to do as much as we can to be healthy, and because we're both in not the greatest of health. I mean, she has thyroid issues and some other medical issues, and I've got all my medical issues, etc. And I'm on a very, very meager fixed income, you know, and I don't even make on my disability. I don't even make as much as a lot of people do. Um, and they just recently, I was put on permanent food stamps, and they just recently cut it nearly in half because of that whole situation with all the fraud and all that. Um, they did this phone interview thing with me, and apparently determined that I didn't need all the cost of living increases that I have gotten over the years. And they took all my cost of living increases away and cut my food stamps in half. Well, almost in half, not quite exactly in half. So but yeah, she does meal prep, preps it ahead of time, and then we can just pull it out the freezer and do it up, and we're good to go. So I really think she should actually do more meal prep, but I don't want to put a crap ton of work on her if she doesn't want to do it. So because she already holds down a full-time job and takes care of me. So yeah, so I mean, I don't know what I'd really do without her, and she knows it, you know, and she also knows that I hardly ever tell her no on anything. If I do, there's a good reason, No, you can't have a kangaroo. Ronan got her on that. Ronan got her on that. Yeah, told her don't get a kangaroo. Told her get a wallaby. Oh no, absolutely not. Yeah, no, that ain't happening. Either one of them, kangaroo, wallaby, either one, because a wallaby is just a mini kangaroo. But she is. I agree with you there. She is. It takes a special kind of person to do what she does. She spends her entire shift at work taking care of developmentally disabled people. That's you know people with various different developmental disabilities, Down syndrome and autism, the severe kind, the really severe autism, and various, multiple sclerosis and cerebral palsy and that kind of thing, you know. And she spends, and some of them are extremely morbidly obese, and she has to help get them in and out of bed. She's got to help. She got to go in and roll them over. She got to do all kinds of stuff for them. I'm not going to get into every detail and all that, but you know, and then puts up with their attitudes. Let me tell you, they can get some serious attitudes sometimes. You know, I mean, but she had to put up with that too. You know, and then she had to come home and take care of me. I'm a big kid, so So I mean, it takes a really special kind of person. I tell her that all the time. And I tell everybody else that. All right, she has had to. Every so often they make them do these classes and stuff. It's really just making sure because they've already been through all these classes and they've been through all this different schooling and stuff. But it's really making sure that they remember everything, that they know what they're doing and everything. She just went and did one the other day, and it was about handling their attitudes and stuff. Because sometimes some of them can get physical, and they have to know how to handle that. You know. and she's a little bitty woman. You know, she's literally technically a midget. You know, I mean, so she's not, she doesn't have dwarfism. She just, her growth was stunted. Um, so you know, she stopped growing way early. You know, so as you know. Right, right. What are you going to do if they don't let you out? You going to raise some cane? Mm, I don't know. I have. You know, they keep telling me, "Oh, we're probably going to let you out tomorrow," and tomorrow comes and they don't let me out. You know, I've raised cane because of it. You know, oh yeah, we're probably going to let you out tomorrow. And the next day comes, we're probably going to let you out tomorrow, dude. Pick a freaking day, because tomorrow has come several times. You know, I mean, you just pick a date, and I'll mark that on calendar, and that's the day we're going home, right? You know, you just go ahead and get those papers ready, get them predated. You know, go one way or the other. I am going home. I mean, you know, they were talking about when I had my open heart surgery. They were talking about keeping me longer. I'm gonna do everything I can to freaking get out of here. I did. You know, huh? Yes, yes, they did. I'm not going to discuss that on camera. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's kind of a requirement, you know. But your devilish will show itself. I hear you. I hear you. I have raised Almighty Cain. You know, when they kind of get my hopes up, tell me, oh yeah, you're probably going to go home tomorrow or the next day, and then tomorrow comes, and oh no, it'll probably be tomorrow. It'll probably be tomorrow. Oh no, 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 no. Enough with tomorrow. You know, we're going to set a date. You know, call the doctor, and we're going to set a date that I'm getting out of here. I am going home. You know, I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. You know, once I'm starting to feel better, you know, and I'm out of the woods, I'm not fixing to die. You know, 'cause I've been close to death many times in the hospital. You know, and if I'm feeling better and I'm not, you know, I'm not on the brink, I'm not getting ready to die or anything like that. You know, if I can recover just as well at home as I could in the hospital, one way or the other, I'm going home. You know, yeah, I would much rather recover at home where I can be comfortable, than to have to sit there in the hospital, not be able to get any rest, and have them tell me to get rest. While they're doing everything they can, everything in their power to stop me from getting rest. You know, I mean, I usually tell them when I go in to the hospital, when they admit me to the hospital, being diabetic, they have to do the finger prick uh, glucose tests, keep track of my sugar. They usually have to do that every hour. Yeah, yeah. You didn't even realize that, did you? Yeah. She's been with me through some of these hospitalizations, but she didn't even realize they were doing it that often, but they were doing it every hour. And I usually tell them when I go into the hospital, look, I know you're going to be coming in to check my sugar. You know, don't wake me up. Just grab my hand, pick a finger, prick it, do your little test, and go on about your business. Don't wake me up. Every single time they come in that door, they flip the lights on, you know, sir, we have to check your blood sugar. I done told y'all don't wake me up. But it's like they're trained to not allow you to get rest, even though they tell you get some rest. you know, that is what it seems like to me anyway. I mean, it's like it's part of that training they get in medical school to not allow you to get rest, even though they tell you to get rest. I mean, but yeah, I would most definitely much rather um I would much rather um go home and recover if that's at all possible than to sit there in the hospital. I'll recover much quicker, much easier, more comfortably at home. You know, and so I mean, and some things take time anyway. You know, and some things take a little bit of time anyway. And if you're gonna be recovering for a long time, it's better to do it at home. You know, unless they have to have you on all those machines and everything, and you can't recover without it. You know, do it at home. And so that's my thing. Yep, as she just said, in my opinion. There are people though that actually enjoy being in the hospital. They kind of feel like it's a vacation or something. I don't know. I can't look at it that way. It's too torturous for me. It's not a vacation. So cucumbers. She she got a craving for some cucumber apparently, and she cut one up and she brings me some cucumber on a plate. Here, eat that. Huh? Oh, she's juicing cucumber, so she cut off some, and she probably needs it for a recipe or something. You hear that crunch? That's a good cucumber. I'm not gonna make y'all listen to the cucumber crunching. But yeah, that's a good cucumber, and that's the kind of snacks you should have. Eat some, cut up cucumbers, cut up tomatoes, you know, things like that. Eat healthy as much as you can instead of eating the sweet stuff. Eat some fruit or some vegetables or something. Something good for you. And a good rule of thumb when you're grocery shopping, if you look at the ingredients on something that you're planning to buy to eat, and there are ingredients that you have to sound out that you can't readily pronounce, that you're not readily familiar with what it is, put it back, get something different. You know, get something with ingredients that you know or that you can actually pronounce. You know, and if you don't know what something is, Google it. I mean, we have the world's knowledge right here at our fingertips all the time. Just Google it. You know, and if you don't like the answer you get from Google, put it back. Just put it back. And there is my requisite bot just popped up every single live stream that I do. I get the bot that pops up trying to get me to go pay for AI viewers. Why would I want AI viewing my stuff? You know, I can, if I want to, I could use AI to create my show. Why would I want it to watch my show? I don't want bot viewers. I want real viewers, human beings. You know, a lot of the experts are actually saying that the AI will get really big for a little while, but after a while, it's going to crash and burn. Not because it's a horrible tool or whatever, but because, you know, humans will eventually tire of it. It'll get old. Or maybe it'll go too far. And humans ain't going to have that once they realize. You know, and the experts are saying that AI is going to crash and burn, and it's going to be nothing more than what Google is now, a search engine. It'll be another little tool in our arsenal in the information age. It won't be, you know, everything that they're making out to be. Now, will it will it take over industry? Will it be a game changer in various different industries? Absolutely. You know, manufacturing, things like that. They're going to absolutely make use of AI and robots and all of that good stuff. And the truth is, you know, AI and robots and everything, they are a useful tool, you know, and they will take some of the harder, more tedious jobs and or even some of the more menial jobs, everything. And people, you know, initially there will be a whole lot of job loss. But that should be an incentive to people to redirect, to, you know, learn a new job, you know, learn how to control that AI. What's going on, dwarf? Excuse me, y'all. I had to scratch in my throat. I took him down, and I'm personally, I'm not done with politics. On the show is done with politics. Now, that's not to say that I won't occasionally talk about something that is political, but that's not the main focus of my show. Main focus of my show is giving you a break from politics. But I took the flags down because my set is going to change. There's going to be a new set. Now, I apologize for the mess that is behind me, especially that blind right there. I do remember how that got damaged. Right behind there, I put up some cardboard to block out the sun, and I cut me a little peephole and made a little flap so that if I want to, I can open it up and I can look outside, see, what's going on out there, close it back up. Well, one day I heard a loud noise, and this was after the flags had gone up. I heard a loud noise outside. It sounded like, somebody probably got really hurt out there. So I undid my flag part of the way, and I moved the blind out of the way. I didn't put it up. I just no. Actually, hang on. Let me show you something about that Burger King crown that you're mentioning. But anyway, finish that story real quick. I moved the blind out of the way, but I didn't let it up. I just pushed it aside, and I looked through my little peephole. Turned out it wasn't nothing. I closed it up, and as I was putting it back, it messed up those louvers on the blind. So that's why you see it. It's kind of messed up. But hang on, let me show you something. Okay, this isn't your normal Burger King crown. You see, it's Big Tony Speaks crown. I'm the king of this here show. It's not a Burger King crown. Truthfully, it used to be one. But I put one of my Big Tony Speaks stickers on it. I don't sell them. You can go on my my merch store. Link is in the description, and you can buy the stickers and go to Burger King and get a crown for free. It's what I did. But yeah, you can get the stickers on my merch store. Link in the description below. You can also get this exact hat right here that I'm wearing, Make Asylums Great Again, or one of my many other designs that I have on my merch store. I am actually in the process of moving my merch store and upgrading a lot of my merchandise. And I will post the new link once I get it finished. It's under construction right now. But all the same merchandise will be on there and more. The designs will be upgraded, higher quality. Some of the things will be a little more modern looking and etc. in their design, but the same exact merchandise, etc. The prices on the new store will be a little bit better. You can with these companies that do this stuff for creators, there's only so much room you have to get good prices. With the prices on my current merch store, I am literally only making $1 to $2 per product when you buy it. Literally, no joke. I'm only making $1 or $2, literally, on any given product. On the new store, it's $2 to $3 that I'll be making off of any given product. See what I'm saying? We don't make that much off of the merch, but they charge out the butt for it. But what they're charging for is the fact that they build the website, they provide the images, and they provide the fulfillment. They make the product, they ship it out, all that good stuff. I don't have to actually put my hands on it and do it. So That's what they're charging for when you pay those what I call the creator price. If you look at pretty much all creators, their merchandise is, in my opinion, kind of expensive. My merch, in my opinion, is kind of expensive. My merch, from what I've seen, is less expensive than most creators because I literally push the price down as far as I possibly can get away with because I know how money is these days, and I push it down as far as I could possibly get it. And I do that for you all. That's why I don't have any discount codes, because if I put a discount on it, I literally go into negatives and I owe the company money. Just a 5 or a 10% discount would literally put me into the negatives and actually owing the company money for your product. So that's why I don't offer any discount codes. You're getting the cheapest possible price on that website that you could possibly get. Now I could raise the prices and then I could give you all kinds of discounts. 10, 15, 20% discounts, I could, but I'd have to jack those prices up. And then you'd be like $65 for a t-shirt, I mean, this, what I'm about to show you, is not on my merch store, and I don't even know for sure where I would source them if I was to put them on my merch store, or even sell them directly to you all through my show. But I think it's cool, and I want to show you all. Oh, now Patriot knows. I don't know about you, Dwarf, but Patriot knows that I have been telling Killer Carl, because his sponsor is Iron Bean Coffee, that same company that I have those bags of coffee back there. I drink it all the time. I really love Iron Bean Coffee. They are not one of my sponsors. I wish they would sponsor me. Okay, believe me. If they would make me a sponsorship offer, I would jump on it in a heartbeat. All right. But I've been telling Killer Carl, because they have a coffee called Drink from the Skull of Your Enemies. Okay. Well, I've been telling him that that Iron Bean needs to offer a skull that you can drink your coffee from, so you can drink from the skull of your enemy, because you can't legally kill your enemy and cut his skull out and drink from it. Go figure, Yeah, I don't know why you can't do that, but they say you can't do that. You'll go to prison. You might, be put to death or whatever, But I have my skull to drink from, and yes, I have used it. I do use it. This is my new coffee cup. I wish that I could actually find a source for them and sell them. Or maybe even go one better and put like a coffee cup handle right here on the back or something, or on the side. But I mean, you can, as she's saying, you can kind of just hold it like this by the face or by the eye sockets here, because they're not painted on. They are actually, they're actually eye sockets, and the nose is actually a hole too. You can pick his nose there. And the cheeks over here, you can literally, hang on, see, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can literally put your finger all the way through there in the cheekbone there. But yeah, I can drink from the skull of my enemies now. This is my coffee cup. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, we ordered it off of Walmart.com, but it come from somewhere in Timbuktu. It was not a Walmart product. What people don't realize is you go on Walmart.com, you're not necessarily ordering from Walmart. They aggregate sellers just like Amazon and various other websites. They aggregate different sellers. They have different stores on there that are run by people like me and you and various different companies and things like that. Did you know that you can buy products from Amazon on Walmart.com? Amazon has a store on Walmart. I haven't looked to see if Walmart has a store on Amazon. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna find that out, and I'll report it back to you all. But yeah, you can get that same skull through Walmart on their Walmart Plus app, or you go online to Walmart.com. You can get that same skull. It's not a Walmart product. It comes from a third-party seller, but you can still get it. And I don't even remember how much I paid for it. I think it was like $20, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, Marilyn said with tax, I think it was 25, something like that. So, it's not that bad, for, it's, the seeing it on camera doesn't really do it justice. I mean, that thing is freaking huge. I mean, it's almost as big as my face, I mean, that thing is huge. So, but yeah, y'all can get those and drink from the skulls of your enemies, and get the Iron Bean coffee. You go to Iron Bean. I think it's ironbeancoffee.com. I'm not sure. Let me look real quick and see what that link actually is. Iron Bean. I've got it bookmarked, and I'm going down my list right now. Watch it be at the very bottom of my list. That's my luck. That's just the way it goes for Big Tony. I can't. Nothing goes the easy way for me. Oh, screw this! I'm just going to do this right here. I'm just going to do this right here. There it is. It is. Hang on. ironbeancoffee.com. Get you some Iron Bean coffee. They are not sponsoring this show. I wish they would, but I love the stuff. It is freaking awesome coffee, Huh? Yeah, we right here, right now, at this very moment, we've got 5 different coffees from Iron Bean, and we love every single one of them. I mean, and they got they got cool names and stuff too. They have a highly caffeinated dark roast called Fierce. They've got Rage Against the Dying of the Light. We got Ride or Die. Me and Marilyn like both of those two. My little friend, say hello to my little friend. They've got Drink from the Skull of Your Enemy. That is a dark roast. They've got Cast Iron, which is a medium roast. Integrity, which is a dark roast. All these have different flavor notes. They taste differently. Some of them taste like butterscotch or chocolate or various different things. And they're natural flavor notes from the different kinds of beans that they use. They've got Thor, like the god of thunder. Fear no evil. They've got Loki, Thor's brother. Rocco, that's an Ethiopian natural. processed medium roast. They've got dark Rocco, which is a dark roast, the same Ethiopian coffee. They've got Odin, Thor and Loki's father. They've got a cinnamon roll coffee. They've got fudge brownie coffee, intense blueberry coffee, Irish cream, unicorn. They've got one called Dylan's Grog. I actually have that behind me. I haven't broken into it yet, but I hear it is really good, and I will be breaking into it soon. They've got Murder. Yeah, it's murderously caffeinated. It says, it says stay awake. It's murderously caffeinated. They got mint chocolate chip coffee, Bananas Foster. They have this. It's one of the most expensive items on their coffee list. It's $30 for a bottle. They have this bottle of coffee beans. Okay. These are bourbon barrel aged coffee beans. I want to get a bottle of those. In fact, I actually want to get two, one to put up for display and one to actually use them and try them, see what it tastes like. But they're bourbon barrel aged coffee beans. They've got butter pecan coffee, salted caramel. Well, actually, that's salted caramel mocha. They got a vanilla hazelnut. They got Strawberry Fields, Feels. It's a play on the Beatles song. Strawberry Fields Forever is what it's called. They do have a decaf coffee. The bag looks, if I can share it, I can share that to y'all. Here you go. Right here. I know y'all can't see where my cursor is, but that white bag right there that just flipped over, that white bag, that is a decaf coffee. Yeah, you see how it's designed to look like a prescription? They got raspberry chocolate. They've got, what is that? Chocolate Buckeye. Yeah, most people do. They got Forget About It right there. I've got that right behind me. And they do, and yeah, it is an espresso coffee. They do have K-Cups on some of their flavors. Right here is the Rage Against the Dying of Light, Ride or Die, and Fierce right there. They also have, I wanted to show y'all, okay, well, I'll just put it to here so you can see them better. There we go. They have these signature blends. These are single source beans, Monsoon Malabar, Guatemalan Antigua, Tanzanian Peaberry. These are all single source and their specialty. Kenyan Dark. They you can get sample packs, etc. And again, I am absolutely not sponsored by Iron Bean. I just love the stuff, So, y'all put y'all order a bunch of coffee from them, put a bug in their ear. Hey, you need to sponsor Big Tony. Because if they offered me a sponsorship, I would jump on it in a heartbeat. I mean, for Christ's sakes, I went out and got me a skull to drink their coffee from. So yeah. But yeah, that is, I've tried a lot of different coffees. I've even tried coffees from some of my fellow creators that have their own coffee companies and whatnot. And in fact, I have some of Jeremy Hambley's coffee right now in the freezer, keeping it as a backup when the Iron Bean runs out. But yeah, I have some of Jeremy Hambley's coffee brand coffee that he advertises all of the time on his show. So and it's pretty good coffee. It's not, in my opinion, not anywhere close to Iron Bean coffee. So, but it's pretty good. And he has all kinds of flavors and stuff. I mean, he says he taste tests and approves or disapproves of all of his flavors as they come up with new flavors and etc. They experiment, and he says he taste tests each and every one of them and approves or disapproves before they go in his lineup. So he's got a bunch of different flavors, and it's pretty good coffee. It's small batch roasted, etc. Just like Iron Bean, but Iron Bean is a lot better in my opinion. So, but anyway, once again, I'm going to reiterate the question that I posed earlier. And I know there's probably some people here who did not see the video at the beginning of the show. I actually had to play it twice because apparently there was no audio at the beginning of the show. So I ended up having to play it twice and then pose my question. But the question to you all is: would you rather Big Tony Speaks be a creation that I create of AI, using AI Big Tony, which could be very easily done. It's just a matter of providing the AI with some pictures and a script and etc. And plugging all that in, telling it to do its thing, and boom, it spits out a video. It's pretty easy. And so if y'all would prefer the AI, I could honestly easily oblige you. But if you'd rather have the human personal touch, rather see real Big Tony and have real Big Tony deliver these news articles and everything, and have a conversation with you all, make it personal and real, then I can most definitely do that. That's the whole point of this. This show is to be real, to present some interesting, to say the least, news items, and to have a discussion, and to provide you all with a break from all of the politics and all the negativity and all the BS, etc. That is our world today. And I'm going to leave that question with you all. I'm going to go ahead and call this an episode. And I'm going to leave that question with you all. Y'all can get my email from the description below and email me, tell me what you think, or you can leave it in the comments, or just show up on the next Big Tony Speaks, Monday through Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and let me know that you would rather have, the real Big Tony instead of AI Big Tony. Or if you're honestly would rather have AI Big Tony, let me know that too, and I will oblige you. It would be a whole lot easier for me just to create shows every day using AI Big Tony. It'd be so much easier. But I don't do this because it's easy. I do it because I like to do it. I'm definitely not doing it for the money. I'm not making hardly crap off this. I'm completely upside down. I'm spending more money than I make off of this thing. So, I'm not doing it for the money. Don't even get it twisted for that. So, well, I'll eat it, but I'm trying to sign off here. So, but no, y'all have a great one. I appreciate you all more than you know. Because without the viewers, there is no Big Tony Speaks. And you could go and watch or listen to or whatever any podcast out there on the internet, but you chose to come to mine, and I'm more thankful for that than you realize. It is very humbling, to know that people, could go anywhere, but they chose to come see you. I thank you so much for that. I wish God's blessings upon you, and also God's blessings upon this country. Lord knows this country needs it badly. You all have a great evening and a great night, and I'll see you next time. And for those of you who happen to be Christian, I'll be presenting in the morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be presenting a message from the Bible. I do every Sunday. I call that Big Tony Speaks the Word. And y'all come and see me. With that being said, this has been Big Tony Speaks presents Shoot the Breeze. And I am your host, Big Tony. And I am out of here. Y'all have a great one. See you next time.